Well, I'm feeling generous today. This doesn't always happen. So, release the prisoner and you might know the inside of a cell. And I'm sure that cell will have daily visits from the Scarlet Chorus Cats thirsty for a bit of torture. He shakes his head, pulling the captive closer. I'd rather take my chances with death. Now that's unfair, I assure you. It's more a hunger for torture than a thirst, but you are correct. We have no charity left for those who have laughed at our mercy once before. The blood chanter slams her staff on the ground, curling her fingers with a quivering hand. If you fools won't deal with him, maybe I will. Whatever you're thinking, don't. Not until Commander Drastus is safe. Well, I did try. But it's time to pull a little bit of a dirty trick on this man. We will lower our weapon, then charge forward and wrest the knife from him. We've gained favor with everyone, as well as athletics experience. The Oathbreaker cracks a wide smile as you lower your weapon. That's right, now the rest of you, drop those weapons. With his attention on the other warriors, you dash forward. He reaches out with his dagger to slay Drastus, but your hand is already on his wrist. With a wrenching twist, you mangle his hand, dropping the dagger harmlessly to the ground. Yeah, take that, you traitorous rebel. The disfavored warriors rush forward from either side of you. Tyrell barely manages a strained gasp before being hacked and impaled upon their swords and spears. And there he goes. Kairos be praised. That Oathbreaker fought with the rage of Cairn himself. Drastus slides a trembling hand along the cut on his neck. Thank you, Fatebinder. I thought today was my last, and that is another conquest decision. Cairn, the mountainous Archon of Stone, accompanied the disfavored on the conquest of the Tears. His temper and proclivity toward destructive solutions often branded him a liability to the otherwise orderly takeover. But his powers were not easily dismissed. During the Azure campaign, Cairn went on a rampage, declaring himself independent of Kairos, and the conquest an unlawful sham. At the behest of Kairos, you proclaimed the Edict of Stone, petrifying and killing Cairn, leaving his remains in the blasted ruin of Azure, now called the Stone Sea. Because yes, the last time we proclaimed an edict, it basically destroyed an entire region of the Tears. So, that was fun. From the look of it, guess they thought if they swarmed the pass, maybe one might make it out. We found a few scraps of parchment on the bodies. Drastus holds out a handful of crumpled parchment for your inspection. A student of letters such as yourself should be able to make sense of this. Yes, literacy is rare in the Northern Empire, where the disfavored are born and trained. Time spent reading and writing is, after all, time not spent sparring and readying one's body and mind for battle. To quote one of the more amusing events in Europa Universalis 4, warriors do not read books. And we will examine the parchment. No reason not to. Repeating the same messages in different written scripts, the parchments explain the Vendrian Guard's desire to overthrow Kairos' Archons and rout their armies from the Tears. The pages aren't addressed to any specific reader, but rather openly invite all who remain loyal to the Younger Realms to gather at Vendrian's Well. Recruitment material. They were trying to bring more traitors to the fight. Well, from the look of it, we kept them from slipping out of the valley. Whatever they hoped to accomplish, I think their plan died here. The Archons are expecting you. When you're ready, leave by the gate to the southwest and follow the trails down slope for a few hours. You'll see the campfire leagues away. Can't miss it. And that's that. But we will loot this body. And now it's time for us to head to our destination. What's this about? The Archon demands all prisoners be given a chance to serve the chorus. These lying horse spawn had their chance long ago. I say kill him. Time to intercede, I think. And the prisoner says his name's Tarkus Demos. Justice lets out a long sigh, tapping his gauntleted finger to his temple. Then I don't think this is a complicated matter. He dies. His family's been a driving force in the Vendrian Guard. Killing him should demoralize whatever's left of the Tarkus clan. All must be given a chance to find absolution in service to the Scarlet Chorus. The mage points a finger at the disfavored officer, and you know full well this has always been our way. He has a chance to be slave or soldier. Only then do we feed him to the pigs. We'd let you take prisoners, but you can't control them. You send these conscripts out on patrol, and they never return, defecting all over again. I can't let this nonsense strategy continue. I agree. Well, I insist this Oathbreaker be taken to the Voices of Nerat, leaving us at an impasse. Fortunately, we have a Fatebinder here to settle the matter for us. The chanter turns to you, an expectant smile creeping across her face. Oh, so it is a she. I can never tell with this portrait. So, what say you? What should become of this prisoner? Well, seeing as our opinion of the Scarlet Chorus is really quite low at the moment, I don't think they need to recruit him. Plus, he is a traitor. Execute the Oathbreaker. They had one chance to surrender. No need to give any more. You've gained wrath with the chorus and favor with the disfavored. The Tearsmen can't be trusted. Rakes, thieves, and whores, nothing more. We were far too merciful the first time. Justice nods to a nearby warrior. Have this one tied up. He and his friends can watch each other rot in the sun. I won't keep you here any longer, Fatebinder. I know you have important business in the valley. Justice salutes you, his iron gauntlet wrapping against his breastplate. For the glory of Kairos. We might visit the quartermaster another time, but not right now.
Can't do that.
Empty spike. Yeah, right now I am just looking for our exit route. But we can also loot this corpse. Aurora dressed as monument. So yeah, we're just basically looking for where we're supposed to go right now.
Sorry, I can't.
And that's our current objective. Find where we're supposed to be at. Down there, I suppose. And here we go then. To the disfavored camp, which will take us 3 hours to get there. What's going on here? Take whatever you can carry, but leave the cart, otherwise we seize you and your wares. This is robbery. What's going on here? Hail, Fatebinder. The disfavored scout nods at your approach. Camp's on up ahead. Don't mind us, just clearing out the rabble. I still don't understand what I've done to offend. I respect that these are now disfavored lands, and I'm happy to give the Legion a proper toll, but she's going on about trading rights. What nonsense is that? I'm not allowed to trade one thing for another. It's not like I'm selling weapons to angry peasants or anything of the sort. The Overlord... Well, this is the law, and we know this matter quite well. The Overlord regulates all trade. If you lack the proper permits, your goods are forfeit. A trade permit? Well, how was I mean, to whom would I speak for such a thing? Not us and not our problem. Maybe march your butt to Bastard City and plead your case before Tunon. But we'll lighten your burden and relieve you of your wares first. That should make the long trek a bit more bearable. Well, we are a Fatebinder, and this guy's a merchant, so not exactly a threat. So Tiberius will give him a chance to make an argument, but he'd best be convincing. Anything to be argued before Tunon may be argued before me. We've lost favor with the disfavored. Oh. What's there to discuss? We should kill this mongrel, and the warrior pauses, placing her hand in front of her mouth. The Fatebinder wishes to weigh in on the matter. Courtesy demands we listen. Soldier clears her throat, looking at you expectantly. This is a disfavored matter, but I know the agents of the court do so love to throw their judgments around. Well, you could rob me now and have my supplies today. The merchant grabs a flask from his cart. Or you can leave me alive and have fermented honey all year long. I even know a few family recipes for painkillers and healing draughts. Certainly any army will need those. He uncorks a small ceramic vial, and the aroma of cloves and lanolin assaults your nose. Painkillers and healing draughts. He's right, those would be very useful for an army, and Tiberius is all about taking the pragmatic approach. So, our ruling is that the goods are essential to the war effort, and we should leave their supplier intact. But he has no permits. You're allowing this lowborn wretch to profit when he should toil like any other conquered tiersman? Fatebinder, it is your right to settle disputes when we lock horns with the chorus. You have no authority on this matter. let's see. I see two options here that would be the appropriate ones. We write him a permit and ask them to trust us, or insist that he pay the disfavored protection fees. I think I like that second one. We are kind of infringing on the disfavored the agreement that the disfavored have, that it's their land, so they decide these things, so they should get compensation for it. The disfavored will tolerate your presence, merchant, but you will pay them handsomely for such generosity and such incredible charity. We will? The disfavored soldier clears her throat with a cough before repeating herself in a more upbeat manner. We will. It sickens me to make exceptions for this vulture, but if you'll supply the disfavored without profit, perhaps this indiscretion is for the best. It's not like our larders are overflowing. A work slave to scrounge provisions would be an asset. Thank you for interceding on my behalf. I know my life will now depend on showing the disfavored due gratitude for suffering my presence. If I must grovel a bit to earn my daily grain, so be it. Yes, you get to keep your possessions, and you don't have your throat cut for trying to argue with the disfavored. I think you got off rather lightly for a matter, honestly. Slow down a moment. I know we're both eager to watch the Archons bicker over tactics like a pair of magpies. I need to ask you something first. What is it? The Voices of Nerat told me you've come as a mediator. Considering the source, well, I can't help but feel I'm only hearing half the story, so let's have it out. What's so special about you? We don't have the subterfuge or lore skill to say either of those. But I have no reason to hide. This is going to probably become public knowledge soon enough. I'm here to deliver an edict from Kairos. That makes a crazy kind of sense. Considering how long the siege has taxed the armies, I can understand why Kairos would send you with an edict to speed things along. Have you read it? Do you know what it says? Yes, I do. The Archons must claim Ascension Hall by Kairos' Day of Swords, or all will perish. One more thing for the Archons to fight over. Well, thanks for cluing me in. If Kairos sends any lightning our way, just tell me when to duck. Well, I really ought to be meeting with the Archons. The war tent is just past the center of camp. She nods towards the northeast. One last thing. Be careful around these disfavored types. They take their work seriously, and most have suffered too many blows to the head. Well, thanks for the tip. Hello. The gate guard holds up a warning sign. Go no further. You approach disfavored ground. State your business. I am Tiberius, Fatebinder of Tunon. I bring words from Kairos. Words for your commander's ears. Understood. His posture relaxes, his weapon lowering. On behalf of the disfavored, I welcome you into our camp. The Archons are gathered in the war tent. Head straight through the gate. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
I do appreciate it. And now we will head straight for the tent of the Archons.
See that?
And my controls are working properly now. It must have been something about progression. A little weird and a little annoying, but oh well. And I'm just going to take the time to clear all these off by opening and closing them. It may take a bit, and I may or may not cut this out. We will have to wait and see. Yes, the fact that I can now use all my controls properly is incredibly handy. Because I prefer to use the keyboard controls over the mouse clicking ones. Alright. And into the tent to meet with the Archons now. Oh dear, these two do not appear to be getting along well.
There's 4 reports of avalanches in the mountains now. The Tiersmen can barely count past 9. They have neither the capacity nor the cause to close off the mountain passes. Either way, that leaves the 2nd and 4th cohort trapped outside the valley.
The Archon of War pounds his staff on the ground to punctuate his words. A large and imposing man to begin with, his profile is made larger still by his hulking suit of armor that hums with mystic energy. And this is Graven Ash. He's rather an interesting fellow so far.
Or it's the work of your perfidious Earthshakers. Only a fool would not suspect a traitorous Archon of poisoning the mind of his students with sedition. We would have killed the Earthshakers Guild for their master's treachery, but I'm sure you have some perfectly valid reason for allowing them to live as your pawns.
The Archon of Secrets passes a scepter between his hands as he speaks, twirling the rod in hypnotic circles. Emerald luminescence seeps from the seams of the Archon's ragged red robes. The glow is most noticeable where his neck ought to be. His mask seems to float and spin, never pivoting or bending naturally. You hear voices in your head. Oh, how interesting. Well, hello there, Fatebinder. We'll be with you in just a moment. So this guy can speak telepathically. The characters in this game just keep getting more and more interesting the longer I play.
Hey, watch yourself. When these two get going, you don't want to get between them.
Okay, and let's just cut right to the point. Tiberius is not someone who will beat around the bush unless it's necessary. I am here to proclaim Kairos' edict. The valley was sealed in preparation for this moment. Governor Tiberius, long have we been honored by your iron. Now we are honored by your presence. I must apologize for my lords. Tempers run high of late. And this is the Iron Marshal. We are not a diplomat, so we can't say this option. So our choices are to bow to them or glare silently. Well, we may be a Fatebinder and technically not within their authority, but Tiberius will try to be respectful and cooperate with his fellow subjects of the Overlord when possible, so we will bow to them. Apologies for the sudden entrance. I've traveled long to be here.
How wonderful you could join us, Quakebringer, Executioner of Cairn. You grace us with your presence. He is hoping you have another edict for bringing childish Archons to heel.
And they don't like us bowing, apparently. I guess that shows weakness. And Tiberius will notice the sudden tightening of facial features and the like that indicates displeasure. And keep in mind that bowing to Archons is not a good idea for the future. And yes, another of our decisions in the conquest was when Cairn rebelled against Kairos. We sent the armies of the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus to slow him down so we'd have time to proclaim the Edict killing Cairn.
My soldiers tell me you helped Commander Drotus on your way through Edring. You honor the court with your selfless cooperation, for that is the sort of camaraderie that Kairos demands of us all.
On the last of his words, the Archon of War glares at the Voices of Nerat, furrowing his brow as he utters the word camaraderie. Okay, and we will get right to the point. I come bearing an Edict of Kairos.
For the second time, Brother Tunon selects you for the glory of proclamation. You should be honored. Tell us, what has the Overlord decided to unleash upon the Oathbreakers?
Oh, you are mistaken. It is not the Oathbreakers this is being unleashed upon. The Overlord is much displeased at the slow speed of your action. The Overlord's loyal servants must hold Ascension Hall by Kairos' Day of Swords, which is the 26th of every month. I should mention, the Overlord's loyal servants must hold Ascension Hall by Kairos' Day of Swords, or all in the valley shall perish. The earth sways with each word you utter, the air thickening with warmth as you pronounce the tersely phrased commandment. It's every syllable drafted by the hand of Kairos. With the edict proclaimed, your pulse quickens, and the muscles in your legs, worn from a long trip down the mountains, feel renewed, the tired limbs now nearly buoyant with vigor. Wow. That was amazing. That was pretty cool.
The avalanches in the mountains are part of this ultimatum. We must conquer the Oathbreakers or die in failure. There is no room for error, and no other way out of this valley alive.
Yes, that's how this works, basically.
We'll need to advance across the Mittani. We lose everything if we stand still. And we move to backup Plan Green. The Earthshakers didn't make it over the mountain in time. So we do this the hard way. Over the walls instead of through.
The Archon of War taps a finger against his temple. A low rumble escapes from under his beard. You know, so far, even though I know he's evil, because everyone in this game is, and kind of an asshole in a lot of ways, I really like Graven Ash. He's proving to be someone who I think Tiberius would get along with very well. He seems to be pretty similar to Tiberius. Pragmatic and not interested in murder for the sake of murder. That's the impression I'm getting of him so far in this game. We'll see if that continues to be the case. Whereas the Voices of Nerat and the Scarlet Chorus, the less said about them the better, honestly.
So, you found your backbone at last! Oh, we were worried past humiliations would make you soft, timid. That was a record for you, right? A baker's dozen lost in one sortie. If you had waited for the chorus reinforcements, maybe we'd have eyes and ears on the matter.